Here, we focus on joy. We look on the skills from the point of view what you like doing, what you love doing.
This is Big Four and More, and I'm your host, Drew Leifheit, bringing you insightful conversations from the world of international consultancy and beyond. In today's episode, we're speaking with someone who's helped hundreds of professionals, from new graduates to senior executives, successfully transition their careers across Europe. Elena Holodova is the founder of Career Embrace, a Budapest-based career development practice helping immigrants, expats, and career changers build confident, strategic paths into the European job market. A certified career guidance specialist with over 8 years of experience, Elena has developed a unique career transition methodology, blending personal profiling, market strategy, and action planning. She's guided hundreds of professionals into roles at companies like SAP, Nokia, Citi, Diageo, Gazprom Bank, and Schneider Electric. We'll be talking about how international consultants and anyone else looking for a new chapter in their work life can approach career transitions with confidence and strategy. And stay tuned for Elena's 3 steps to get you started. Elena Holodova of Career Embrace, welcome to Big Four and More.
Hello, Drew. Thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about my work. I always enjoy talking about my work. So let's do
Excellent.
it.
Great to hear. Great to hear. And I hope you're having a lovely fall day. It's the sun here in where I am is, as they say in Hungarian, shining on 4 branches.
Yeah, actually, autumn is really beautiful this year. Have you noticed? It's kind
Totally,
of different.
totally,
And
totally.
so many colors.
All
I
right.
actually I was comparing it to Vermont.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess in that context, perhaps it's a great time for someone to make a career change. Can you imagine that?
Actually, autumn is the best time for,
Wow.
for career change. Yeah,
Wow.
because this is the months from September to December are known for very active HR processes for employment rates spiking. So yes, if you would like to change job, then it's time to go.
Oh, that's good news for anybody watching this podcast. Maybe just to get us started, could you kind of give us a feel for, what the job market, maybe where we are and other places in Europe, what's that like for, international people who are looking to find something?
Well, first of all, we have to define what we mean by international. Because if you're talking about European Union, well, historically, yes, Europe was always attractive for people looking for jobs. But I have to clarify that for people who are looking for stable environment and work-life balance. So Europe was, and it still holds its reputation up on now. Yeah, but the situation is difficult because during the last 2, 3 years, the many companies had to cut their resources and their budgets, and obviously, it touched the human resources, and companies have to cut their staff or consolidate different roles, and as a result, competition grew on the labor market. And nowadays, if you are a foreigner looking for job in different country, and especially if you're a third country national, you have to understand that you are stepping into a race. And in this race, there are locals, young professionals, and experienced professionals who are native speakers, and this is obviously an advantage. There are foreigners from European Union who are also applying for jobs. There are foreigners who live in this country and they have already experience in the country and maybe in similar company. And there is you at the end of this wonderful queue. So it's not gonna be easy. That's for sure. I don't want to draw pink ponies here. I'm
Sure,
sorry.
sure. Sounds a bit daunting, but of course, I'm sure part of your the method to this is pointing out the strengths. What have you seen so let's say, for example, you mentioned third country nationals. What could make someone special? In that how can I say, pool of competition?
Well, first of all, you have to understand that job search is a strategy, and this is a 24/7 second job. Looking for job is a 24/7 job. You have to be targeted, you have to be strategical, you have to, first of all, understand what you can expect from the labor market, how you will be positioned on the labor market of a particular country, how do you want to represent yourself, and what are your strengths that you're going to base your job search on. But this is all related to people who actually don't change their career, who transit in the same field of their expertise. Career transition is absolutely different story.
Okay, well, we can, make some general remarks, and we will get to career transition, of course, because that is our main topic of discussion.
Mhm.
What about, could you tell us a little bit about your career changes? And then maybe, I'm getting ahead of myself, but maybe you could tell us a little bit about a particular success that you're proud of. Sounds like it's a difficult thing to do. So, how are you able to help people? But tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Sure. I'll try to keep it short. It's kind of difficult because I had a lot of events in my life that I would consider landmarks, but I will try not to go back to kindergarten. So, but I think it's worth mentioning that I've been working more or less continuously since I was 13. And my first salary I've got at the age of 11. I was painting exhibition stands, but this didn't influence my career too much. My first degree was in law, and I was specializing in environmental law. And after graduating, I worked in that field for 3 years before moving to Hungary. And in Hungary, I did my second master's. It was a master's of environmental science and management. And when I finished my studies, I couldn't find job in my field. Uh, and it's not because the job was not out there. It's because I didn't know how. Because in my home country, I was using mostly networking, connections that I was creating myself, but it was my mother language, and it was absolutely like it was my mentality. I knew how to do that. And in Hungary, I ended up doing all sorts of things. Like I was doing translations, I was doing financial documents processing for New York Stock Exchange. This I was doing for like 3 years during my maternity leave. And finally, I managed to join an international energy consulting company. And there I worked first in client management, and later on, I moved to business development unit. And finally, in 2021, I made the full transition into freelance career consulting. And but this is something I had actually been doing since 2015. I was helping foreigners and expats in Hungary to help with their job search.
So, yeah, what is the most rewarding part of what you're doing for yourself?
Happy people. Yeah, because it happens quite often that on the first consultation, people cry. I have to say, career transition is not an easy process. And when you ask proper questions and people start opening up and they start reconsidering their career and their attitude to their professional development, and they start realizing that basically for the last 15, 20 years, they were doing something they don't like. And this is a very difficult moment for experienced person who already invested a lot of time in their job.
Not to mention that life happens too, right? So,
Exactly.
what a complicated world we are in, which probably makes things even more complicated for people who are trying to figure out what they want to do.
That's true. Yeah. And of course, the situation that people bring to the table is always different. But you've asked me earlier about foreigners. I would like to distinguish here two major groups because this is important for our conversation. There are expats and there are immigrants. And these are two different groups with two different problems, two different sets of problems. Yeah. So we have expats who are usually moving into another country because of employment or family reunification. And they are in more favorable situation because they have kind of predefined conditions for their moving. Like they have their housing, they have stable income, they have what is very important. They have social circle of their colleagues and families of their colleagues. They have different kind of community activities organized by the company. So they are moving kind of from one comfortable bubble to another comfortable bubble. And this is very important to understand because these people don't need to start from scratch on the one hand, but on the other hand, they are very frustrated if something happens, for example, if they lose job, then they're absolutely lost in this situation because they have no experience in looking for job in this country, they don't have connections, and everything what they've built is related to their employment. But immigrant at the same time, it's a person who decided to move to another country independently, and immigrant has to develop certain survival and adaptation skills naturally, you know. But again, immigrant has to resolve a lot of other problems related to living conditions. Yeah, so you have to first make your life stable, know what you're going to eat tomorrow, where you're going to sleep, and then probably you can start thinking about your career development. So, and yeah, what is very important to understand, there are two more groups that are very vulnerable, but people often don't talk about them. These are expat partners, like wives and husbands, and teenagers who are moving with their parents, whether they're immigrants or expats. And on the like at first glance, these two groups, they already have everything to feel comfortable. You know, there is someone to take care about them. They have, again, housing and income, but they are very weak and vulnerable, and they need definitely special attention and special care.
Mm.
And they're usually left out of all the activities and all kind of initiatives, you know, for expats and immigrants.
Thank you for distinguishing between those various groups. And yeah, yeah, it does sound like the latter two would fly under the radar a little bit. Um, I'm wondering, is it possible without, of course, I don't want you to name any names, but yeah, could you maybe talk about a particularly difficult case where you were able to help someone and help them thrive?
Oh, all cases are difficult. You know, I cannot remember any easy case, frankly speaking, but of course, I have some examples that in particular close to my heart. Uh, for example, I had a woman who moved to Silicon Valley after her husband. He found job there and she followed him. And she back home she used to be an HR professional, and actually she was leaving from quite good position. She was an HR director in international company. And when she moved to States, she couldn't find job. She was looking in the same field, and she even decided to upgrade her portfolio. She went to MBA in the same field, and still no luck. And at the same time, she started to look for alternatives. So what else she could do? And we actually figured out that everything where like the area where her motivation lays, the inspiring field for her is art. She was, when we were talking about art, about her travel, how she's visiting museums and galleries, she was so much lighting up. You know, it was obvious that this is something she loves. And even during our work together, she joined the course as a museum tutor. She found the internship in another museum nearby. And a year later, she became a co-owner of the art gallery, and currently she's organizing exhibitions and bringing nice works into states. So it's amazing. I mean, when you can observe this in progress, when you can see this miracle happening in front of your eyes, this is just so heartwarming. I'm going to cry. It's really it's amazing experience for me as a consultant.
Right.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That sounds great. So this person
Thank you.
was not an American, a native in America, was not born in America.
No,
Right?
no, no,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
no.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Cool. And yeah, maybe could you pull back a little bit and talk a little bit about sort of how difficult is it for a person to get hired abroad? What's the good, what's the bad? Maybe what are the main pain points?
In general, looking for job in any country, whether it's abroad or it's in your country, it's a project. And you have to approach it as a project and just move through the project cycle. Looking for job abroad can be more difficult because there is a lot of unknown. So the first thing you need to do, you need to cover the information gaps. And what you need to start with is analyzing your skills. But from the point of view, because we are talking about job search, not career transition, yeah, these are two different processes. So if you're looking for job, then you need to analyze your skills from the point of view of monetizing your skills, yeah, and you need obviously to look at it from like in connection with the labor market you're going to explore. So look at your skills, make a list of them, and choose those skills where you feel that you can be, it's called consultant. So this is kind of stages of professional development for every person. So you can be a specialist, you can be professional, and you can be consultant. So consultant is the level of expertise when you know things, when you know trends around things, when you can teach others how to do that, and when you can find gaps in the processes related to these skills. And then put it together and see how is the position called on the labor market you're interested in, where you can use all those skills, because the position can be called absolutely differently. And what is kind of interesting for employers in your home country, what can be an advantage in your home country can be disadvantage in different country. Because if I look at my clients, it happens very often that in the CV, I see the person who can do basically everything. You know, an octopus is here. Like I can do client management, I can do sales, I can do business development, this and this and that. And the person is making an accent on this variety of skills. While in Hungary, for example, it would scare away an employer because this is not specified positioning of the person. Like when you make a CV for Hungarian market, then you should be more precise. You have to make an accent on a particular business field, and you have to emphasize those results that person can bring for business. I don't know if I answered your question because I often get driven away.
Sure, sure. No, I think that's a
Yeah.
very acute observation that you've made too. Yeah, I think specialization is incredibly important. Yeah, on the same hand, I think yeah, people think, oh well, I've had these experiences. Maybe maybe this is also attractive for a potential employer, etc. Um, yeah. So, but I think yeah, I think that your point is very well taken. What would it would you have a couple of tips maybe to help somebody prepare as an expat or immigrant for starting out their job search?
Yeah, definitely. There are some life hacks that will help you and save you time. First of all, make sure that your job search tools, and here I mean mainly your CV and LinkedIn profile, answer questions rather than raising them. Because you have to understand that HR has 6 to 10 seconds per each CV. And in your CV, especially in the first part of the first page, there should be the most important information about you. Every word counts, so use it efficiently. You don't have much time to impress. And your CV and LinkedIn, they should clearly communicate your value, not create doubt. And this comes to very small, insignificant looking in significant details like your phone number, your email address. This is very funny, but people are still creating email addresses that have absolutely no relation to their name or surname. And it's you should just understand it's you shouldn't make the life of an HR difficult. You should make it easy. So think about your job search instruments from this point of view, how to make the job of an HR easy in finding you, in understanding you as a professional. And second, make your job search more personal. Build your own professional network. Use LinkedIn efficiently, use it strategically, but do it kind of with intention, with target, with the goal. Yeah, networking. It's not about collecting contacts. It's about cultivating meaningful professional relationships, and that will open you real opportunities because LinkedIn nowadays it's used by millions of people, millions. And imagine that there are your employers sitting on LinkedIn, they're waiting for you. So just let them know that you are there.
Mm. And if you're going to take like a kind of a personal inventory, what should you think about who you are and what you want to be?
uh, there's a saying that don't put all eggs in one basket. So I always have plan B. Even for myself. We're talking about me right now, right? If I understood you correctly. So, for example, for the second year already, I'm doing voiceover for advertisements just as a side hustle, and also I have some plans or projects in the field of organizing events. So I try different things and different for myself. I don't want to stop where I am. And as you probably know, I don't work with adults only. I work with teenagers too. So this also allows me some, let's say, variety of tasks and different direction of my career.
Mm. Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. You've mentioned a strategy a couple of times. I'm wondering if you could talk about using a kind of a strategic approach. Could you talk about how you are able to help people adopt a strategy when they're seeking a job?
Uh, you mean how the methodology works, the career transition works?
Right, right.
Yeah. So when we're talking about career transition strategy, then here I use 3 steps methodology. And or let's put it 3 essential questions, what we need to answer. So the first question is actually, who are you? Because when people are thinking about changing careers, they start kind of from the end. They start first looking at possibilities, different professions, different directions. But first, you need to answer the question, who is actually looking for a new job? And here we start usually with goal setting and really in-depth analysis of potential, skills, natural strengths, gifts, etc. And we focus here, when we were talking about the job search, we were talking about looking at skills from the monetization point of view. But here we focus on joy. We look on the skills from the point of view what you like doing, what you love doing. Um, Second question is, what do you want? Yeah, but this question is already answered um, in like from the perspective of who is answering it. Yeah, we are not taking this question out of the context of this personality. We actually answering the question what this particular professional wants. And here we build a career strategy. Yeah, we look at how you'd like to express your abilities in terms of career direction, the vector of the career development in terms of education, employment format. And here we also define criteria of what an ideal job should look like. And only after that, we can start answering the question, where can I find all this? So basically, we are creating template, and then this personally tuned template we are putting on the existing labor market. And here we are creating an action plans. We identify the right opportunities, and yeah, we look at how fast, like there is long term, there is short term strategy, how to actually get where you want to be.
Great, great. I'm curious when someone maybe has worked for quite a while and
Mhm.
maybe they're a little bit burnout, maybe they're kind of confused about they want. How difficult is it for you to kind of get them on track and find, pursue a new career?
Um, well, first of all, if person comes to me, it means that person is ready to transit. Yeah, I don't need to convince them. Um, but I always, first of all, look on the emotional condition of the person, emotional state. This is very important because if you come to the career transition in the state of burnout, if you're emotionally exhausted, then we are not going to do that because this is a very big load, this is a very big stress, and career transitions by itself are not complicated. It's really a number of steps, practical steps. But emotional side is something what is usually taken out of this equation because people do not involve emotions when they talk about their careers. And also they like career transition by itself is um, scary for experienced professionals because they think that they need to start from scratch. But this is simply not true. You, even if you worked one day, just one day in your life, you already have developed transferable skills that can be applied elsewhere. And your past experience, it's just adding uniqueness and additional value to your new path. So this is what we're talking about with people that we analyze their baggage, yeah, their professional, the emotional baggage, and we see how we can move from there.
Well, that sounds like a very effective approach. And would just say from personal experience that, yeah, definitely I think it's amazing the emotional component that there is to sort of finding what we'd like to do. What, after you kind of are able to get past, I don't know if we'd consider it an obstacle, but let's say, you're kind of able to get past the emotional component, what would you say drives the success or failure of a career transition?
Uh, well, many people say that success depends on having clear goals and motivation. This is true, but only partially. I believe that motivation actually grows out of pleasure. And if you find what you genuinely enjoy, you'll never have to artificially motivate yourself again. So this is the main goal of my work with clients to find what they actually enjoy doing. And with adult people, it's very difficult because older you are, more difficult it is to answer this question, like what do you actually like? You can easily answer a question what I can do, but what you like doing, especially in your job, oh, that's difficult.
Right, right. Of course, Elena, we are called Big Four and more here. So I'm wondering if we could address the consultants out there watching, people that work for international audit and consulting companies.
Sure.
If we're thinking about maybe a career transition for a person that works at one of those companies, um, do you have any ideas? What should they leverage for kind of moving forward and pursuing something else?
Um, the first question I would ask is why do you want to change your job? Because if you don't like your job anymore because there is too much routine, it's one thing. Then probably you need to reconsider your responsibilities. If you deep down you still love what you do, but you're simply overloaded, then perhaps what you need is to change a role. and maybe that will be enough, but you don't need a total career shift. But if your work itself feels, awful, unbearable, if it doesn't match your values anymore, if you have to fight with yourself every morning just to go to the office, then yeah, it's time to think seriously about changing your field. And at at early stage of my work with clients, that's exactly what I help clients to uncover, like the real root of their dissatisfaction. Because sometimes you just need to filter, to shuffle your functionality, and that will be enough.
Are there any specific, say, personality characteristics, or are they a certain type of person that work at consulting companies, and is that something that they could use effectively someplace else or in another capacity?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we cannot talk about big company as a whole. It obviously it depends on the field. But people from big companies, they're usually very good freelance consultants. I mean, you can always look at this direction. They are good for bigger companies, smaller companies that are looking for business development, to give them instruments, to give them push into the right direction. Uh, Obviously, big companies give a lot of values, give a lot of skills that can be transferred to many other fields and places. Yeah, but you should just be sure that when you change your field, that you may lose your status. You may lose the advantages that big companies bring to you. And this actually can be quite problematic. I had clients who were switching from Big Four, and their main problem was that they are losing this stability that big companies give them. They are losing the, let's say, corporate advantages of being part of big internationals, and they lose the status because naming, name dropping still works in certain fields, and yeah, this can be difficult. So you have to be ready that you will need to, especially as a freelancer, you will need to build up your reputation again as an individual.
Okay, excellent. That's Elena's tips for international consultants out there, and pulling back again, and going for everybody out there who's potentially looking to transition their career. Would you have three actionable tips you could give for someone who would like to endeavor a very meaningful career transition?
Uh, well, I prefer not to give generic advice because every situation is unique. But as I said, what I recommend is starting with one simple question: why do I want to change my career? Yeah, and if you decide to move, then let this decision be as informed as possible. Uh, I just remembered lately I came across one interesting term, a vampire's problem. Have you heard about it?
No,
No.
please explain.
So it was introduced by Lori Paul. She is a professor at the University of North Carolina. And it basically means the following. Imagine that I'm a vampire. I'm coming into your house. And I'm telling you, it's cool to be a vampire. Would you like to become one too? Just, I will bite you, and tomorrow you'll be immortal, forever young, and able to turn into a bat. What do you think? Would you like to become a vampire? So basically, a vampire problem, it's any moment in life when we are asked to make a really serious, transformative, sometimes irreversible decision, which is based on limited information. Because the truth is, I have no idea what it's like to be a vampire. I can make a guess. I can read about vampires, I can interview vampire, I can talk to people who met vampires, maybe even one of my relatives is a vampire. but I still can't make a fully informed and rational decision. And that's exactly what happens when people choose careers without enough information about what they're going to do, where they're going. So to make meaningful career choices, you first of all need to know yourself and to be able to answer very simple but very profound question. What makes me happy?
Mm. It sounds like once you've been bitten, it's over, right?
Well, yes, but you are prepared.
Mhm. We've got just a couple of minutes, Elena. Could you talk to us a little bit about how maybe you could help someone who's considering a career transition?
Well, I do work with adults and with teenagers. Sometimes I do groups for group trainings, and you can always come for individual consultation if you are on the crossroads, if you don't know if you're ready to transit, if you want to improve your current situation, then you just drop me a message on LinkedIn and we will take it from there.
Wonderful. And we will put Elena's contact details at the end of this podcast. You've been watching Big Four and More. We've been speaking to Elena Holodova, career transition specialist and founder of Career Embrace. Elena, thank you so much for joining us on Big Four and More.
Thank you, Drew.